I had made myself a spot of tea, so figured I should get my spot of tea. I don't know what accent I'm doing. It's probably really bad. Look at this mug. Okay. This is a Pizza Planet mug, and Brian low-key hates when I use it because it's technically his, but I bought it for him. He ain't home to complain about it, so. Hey friends, I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my library book haul for you guys because y'all know I love the library so very much and you guys love these videos. So many of you just, I'm so glad there are so many library users out there and I'm just so happy as a librarian. I love it. So in February I took out a total of 12 things from the library. And that is so much better than honestly what I have been doing. And most of these were things that I checked out online. So they weren't even a lot of physical things. I did return a lot of these things already just because I got what I needed from them, or because I decided to do an ebook only month. A lot of these things were gonna be due before I got around to them. I have marked them since to get again, but we still gonna talk about them today. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and get into this haul. So the first thing I want to talk about, I actually took out twice in the same month, but they were two different formats, and that is The Wife Between Us. I had originally placed this on hold when it was on order for the library because I really wanted it, and I ended up being first in line of many for it, so I was real excited. So I brought home the physical book, but then I got real nervous because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna read this in the time that it's due, and I can't renew it because there's a line. So thankfully, I totally forgot that I had put it on hold on Overdrive as well, and ended up getting the audiobook on Overdrive. So I was like, that is much more manageable for me, and honestly I'd probably much rather listen to it anyway. So that's why I got two copies of the same dang on thing. I ended up returning the physical one, and I did listen to the audiobook. This is a mystery thriller kind of psychological thing, and this is basically about an ex-wife that is now obsessed with a new wife. Well, new fiance, whatever she is. Narrator, she is the ex-wife, and she is like an alcoholic. She is like low-key stalking this new wife. So we get a little bit of that, and of course not all is what it seems. At least that's what the back of the book says. So again, this is just kind of like a domestic thriller thing. There you go. I should have looked these up before I started talking. Another audiobook that I got was The End of the Affair. I believe this is also a domestic thriller mystery thing. Okay, so I found a summary of The End of the Affair online. I don't know if it's the right version of the one that I have, but it's literally the only one I can find. So it doesn't quite sound like the thing that I picked up, but who knows? Maybe it was like a cover change because I can't find the cover that I know I checked out. I don't know, but the one that it is telling me that it is, apparently this is a post-World War II, and it is about a love triangle gone awry. I don't know, I think this has something to do with religion as well. There's something like, I guess, the woman in this love triangle has died, and the one guy is like looking back on it, and at first he like hates her, but like eventually comes to hate God in some way. I don't know. This does not sound like what I picked up, so I guess I'll listen to it and let you know. Then we have A Stolen Life. This is also an audiobook. This is actually a non-fiction as well. I don't know if you guys have seen in the news somewhat recently about the family that had, I believe it was like 12 children, and they were just severely abused and neglected. And I believe it was in California, possibly. I don't remember where, but I remember reading an article about it. The article gave mention to, since the children are kind of like recuperating from the situation, it mentioned A Stolen Life and the author of A Stolen Life, and apparently what she went through. A.C. Dugard was abducted from a school bus stop within sight of her home, and it was 18 years. Basically, she stuck with her kidnapper, and this is her memoir of what happened. Anyway, she has some sort of foundation to help kids that have been in these similar situations, so I really am interested in that, especially because it does, I mean, it happens all the time, which is terrifying. I also took out The Devil in the White City, and this was recommended to me by a patron actually as I was like checking it out. She was like, oh my god, that's one of the best books that I ever read. So this kind of jumps between two different things that are going on during this specific time period. So this was when architecture was really big in the US. I mean, not that it still isn't, but this is when we were really starting to we wanted to build all the magnificent things, basically, and the architectures at the time had a lot of power because they were building all the things. It's around the building of like a massive Ferris wheel. Don't ask me the details on it. Some sort of massive Ferris wheel, something or another. But in the other set of events that this is telling, it also talks about, I believe it is the World's Fair Hotel or whatever, where we had, what was his name? Henry Holmes, I guess. And he basically like made this hotel, and all these young women were kind of coming into this town to start getting recognized, and he was just like slaughtering these people in this hotel.
Murder, magic, and madness of the fair that changed America.
Sounds really interesting. I love serial killer stuff. I love fair and circus stuff, so very excited. And I've just heard nothing but great things, and plus you get a little bit of history in with it too, so I'm excited about that. Then we have one of my most anticipated releases for the year, although I wasn't sure if I would like it because it is fluff, and that is Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella. I love Sophie Kinsella. I mean, I've only read Confessions of a Shopaholic, but that is one of my favorite movies, and the book was pretty enjoyable. So I saw this, plus the cover is so stinking cute, and there was a massive holds list at the library for it, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to wait forever. And the audiobook came in, and no one ever thinks to put a hold on the audiobook, so I was like, well, I'm gonna snatch that. So this is about a happily married couple. They've been married for years, and basically they want to bring the spark back into their marriage. So this is about the different surprises that they do to try to get this spark back into their marriage. Apparently though, with these surprises comes some not so great ones, and some secrets about their past are revealed, and it threatens their marriage more than ever. So I made that sound way more exciting than it probably is, but it sounds like it's gonna be super adorable. I mean, I love these kind of like more realistic relationships, I guess. Like it's not quite a happy ending. Like everyone gets kind of bored in the relationship at some point. I mean, that's just life. Like you're with the same person for so many years, and it's like you get in the groove of things, and sometimes you just gotta switch things up. So I'm eager to see how this goes and what happens. I'm sure we'll have a happy ending. But next I downloaded the audio of the Last Namsara. I don't know how to pronounce this. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, this sounds like a kind of complex fantasy world, but it also sounds kick-ass as shit. So I'm super excited. Namsara or whatever was like love and light and spirit and all this other stuff, and of course where all that is, there has to be darkness. So there is Iskari, that is like the dark, the child of blood and darkness and moonlight and stuff like that. And I guess these are like forbidden figures of the past. And this follows, I believe her name is Asha, daughter of the king of some sort of, it looks like Farquaad. I swear that's what it looks like. I know it's probably not, but apparently she is like drawn to this. She becomes the most best and badass dragon slayer of all time, and that is what she is known for. But no matter how many dragon heads she brings, she still has to be placed into an arranged marriage to like this super evil commander. Basically, what she does is from the super evil commander's house, she pairs up with one of his slaves to get the hickety heck out of there. And apparently that is because there's all this darkness around her, and she needs to find this light and this love and this spirit, and that is what they're gonna go in search of. I don't know, it sounds freaking amazing, so I'm hoping I love it. I have not heard anyone talk about it yet. I'm like been sitting here waiting like, when y'all gonna read this so I know if it's good or not, because I was just gonna buy a copy because it low-key sounds so good. But it has fantastic ratings here on the Goodreads. Next I have, this is a contemporary like romance whatever, and I've seen really fantastic things about this so far. This is the love letters of Abelard and Lily. Why with these names, y'all? Why? One of these characters has ADHD and the other character has Asperger's, and apparently, I mean, those are two pretty conflicting personalities. This is about how one of them posts quotes from, I think it's the letters of Abelard and Heloise. That's a actual work out there that I don't know how to say. And basically he puts these quotes and they just like instantly like start falling for each other kind of deal because of this quote. Even though they're different, they can come together and just truly love each other for the differences. And I'm just eager. I've heard so many good things and I've heard that it's good rep, so I'm eager to see about that. Another thing that I took out on Hoopla was The Princess Saves Herself in this one. This is a poetry, modern poetry collection. You guys know how I feel about these. This is pretty well known in the world, but this is a poetry collection and it is kind of set up into like, oh, you know, at the beginning she is trapped and then she is released and then like self-discovery kind of thing. And it's modern poetry. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. You probably heard about it, so there's that. I also took out the best sci-fi stories of 2017, which is a collection of sci-fi short stories. I ended up returning this because I knew I wasn't going to get around to it this month. I do have it set to take out at another time, so hopefully I can. And I also took out a Wires and Nerve Volume 2. And this ended up being a really thick graphic novel. Like, I was not expecting this whatsoever. If you guys don't know, Wires and Nerve is a graphic novel series that is kind of a sequel to the Lunar Chronicles, and it follows Aiko, and kind of she is sent out to collect the wolf soldier things that are still out in the world that they are like trying to hide away. So this is her going to search for them. This is a kind of more bland looking graphic novel series because it's only set in blue, white, and like black. Those are the only colors used. So I thought that was an interesting choice. I don't know what was with that or what, but that's how it is. I really enjoyed the first volume, so I was hoping to get around to the second volume. It was just way too thick. I knew I wasn't gonna ever get around to it, so I ended up returning that already, especially because there was holds on it. Like, why y'all gotta do this to me? I like to hoard library books for months at a time. Just rude. The last one is the only physical thing that I kept, and that is Binti. And this is so tiny. I was not expecting this to be this tiny. This is like the reason I kept it. Apparently this is about Binti, who has been accepted into this like faraway universe, but journey there, apparently she's gonna have to go through like this other alien race that like really does not like her race or something like that. And she's gonna have to try to fight through this war or whatever to get to this university. Like, girl, is it really worth all that? She hopes to survive the legacy of a war not of her making, but she will need both the gifts of her people and the wisdom enshrined within the university itself. But first she has to make it there alive. So that seems like a lot of things to fit into this one little book. And I have seen that there are 3 or more out so far. So these are kind of like these mini epic journey things, so we'll see how it goes. That is everything that I have for you guys from my library haul. Not super exciting stuff. Don't really know what much of it was. I'm sorry. Probably could have been better. I feel like I'm doing much better with my library checkout stuff. Like, my account has less than 15 books on it now, which is like huge success for me because normally I have like 40 something. Don't forget to tell me what you guys checked out of your libraries this past month. I love seeing what you guys checked out. It's always just so fascinating because you never know what you're gonna get at the library. Like, sometimes you get something from like years and years ago, and sometimes you get like a brand new release, and I just love seeing it. Well, you guys have liked this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to see future book hauls from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.